Hi everyone. Did you know that around 70% of people experience negative self talk? Crazy, right? What if I told you that this voice in your head could be lying to you? Sounds wild, but it's true. Today, we are diving deep into the internal chatter and figuring out what's really going on. So, let's kick things off by talking about this internal voice we all have. It's super common, yet it can lead us down a rabbit hole of self-doubt and confusion. You know that little nagging voice that tell you, you're not good enough or you're going to fail. It's like having a mini critic in your head, and it can seriously mess with your self-esteem and mental health. But why does this happen? Let's explore that together. Now, why this negative self-talk happens? First off, let's look at the challenges the negative self talk brings into our lives. It can really affect our mental health. When you're constantly hearing things like, you are not smart enough, you will never succeed, it starts to wear you down. Over time, this can lead to feelings of anxiety, depression, and other mental health struggles. And let's be real, who wants to live with that kind of baggage? Not only that, but your self esteem takes a major hit too. You start to second guess yourself in social situations and at work or even in your personal relationships. It's like being stuck in the loop of negativity. Let's say, for example, you are at work and get a challenging task. That inner voice may tell you, you can't do this, you will mess up. You start to doubt your own abilities even before you try. Sometimes it's like, it's like, being your own worst enemy. So let's understand, from where this voice comes from. Now, where does this voice even come? And it's not just a random occurrence. The internal chatter often has its roots in our upbringing, societal expectation, and your own personal experiences. Think about it. Maybe you grew up like in a household where you were constantly pushed to be perfect, or maybe societal standards made you feel like you're not, measuring up. These experiences can create the perfect environment for that negative voice to thrive, reinforcing our own insecurities. For example, think that if you're as a child, you were told that you're not doing well enough constantly. Whenever you made a small mistake, the voice becomes internalized, and as an adult, even a slight error at work can trigger thoughts like, I am a failure. It's like our minds are conditioned to replay the same critical messages we have heard, growing up. But here is the thing, it doesn't have to control you. You can change that narrative, and it starts, with recognizing that this voice is often a distortion of the truth. So here is the key, the key insight. Once you realize that the things you tell yourself are not the facts but are just the negative perceptions, you open the door to change. It's like flipping a switch. You can challenge those thoughts and replace them with more positive affirmations. For example, instead of saying that I am going to fail, try telling yourself, I'm capable of learning and growing from this experience. Imagine what could happen if you started to view yourself through a that kind of lens. You will be amazed at how much better you will feel about your decisions, your relationships, and even the way you handle setbacks in your life. So this shift in perspective can lead to a real growth, and it's a powerful way to take back control over your mindset. And like how this negative self-talk, it is different, because some people say that hearing voices and then negative self-talk. Let's understand how this negative self-talk is different from hearing voices which we do hear in psychiatric disorders. So it's important to note that the negative self-talk is definitely different from hearing voices, which is a symptom of psychiatric disorders. Let's break this down more clearly. The negative self talk is something many people experience. It's a reflection of our own inner doubts, fears, and insecurities. It's a part of our regular thinking pattern. While it's tough, we can recognize and challenge it. However, hearing voices is a completely different experience. People with certain psychiatric conditions like schizophrenia may hear voices that are not really there. These voices can sound like they are coming from outside of themselves. They often say disturbing or harmful things. Unlike negative self talk, these voices are perceived as an external and can be very disruptive and distressing. People experiencing this may feel like they are hearing someone else talk to them, and they often believe these voices are real. So, for instance, someone with schizophrenia might hear a voice telling them you are in danger, or someone is coming after you, even when you are in a safe place. So these voices can feel incredibly real to that person, and they're often frightening or like confusing. So this is a hallucination, and these kind of things require a professional help. On the other hand, the negative self talk feels like your own thoughts just turned against you. It's that critic inside your head whispering, "You're not enough." You can, like, no, but you can always learn to challenge and reframe these thoughts. So now let's understand like how to manage this negative self talk. Managing negative self talk starts with awareness. Once you recognize these patterns, you can begin to challenge them. Here is a tip I want to give. When a negative thought pops up, ask yourself, is this really true? Most of the time, you will find that these thoughts are exaggerated or distorted versions of reality. Replace them with the positive affirmations, like, as I mentioned, I am capable of doing this, or I have handled these kind of challenges before. I can handle this one too, kind of things. So, this is what the difference between the hallucinations and the negative self talk. I would like to give a quick recap. So, to sum it all up, negative self talk is something we all deal with some point, but it doesn't define us. It's often a reflection of our own past experiences, societal pressures, and fears. But once we recognize that it's just a voice, not the truth, we can start to shift our mindset. And remember, hearing actual voices is something entirely different and related to, psychiatric conditions are, they are severe. If you are, if you or anyone is experiencing that, it is important to seek the professional help. So I would love to hear from you all now. What's your experience with negative self-talk? How do you deal with that lying voice, in your head constantly sometimes? Drop a comments below. And let's share some strategies on how to flip the switch to positive thinking. Also be sure to check out my other videos on tips to stop negative self-talk. Let's keep supporting each other on this journey. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Signing off, Shailaja Pisapati.